The last 7-quarter losses are primarily caused by the AP-MFI crisis. If we were to just look at the building blocks of our turnaround strategy, the following are the building blocks. First and foremost, we have fully provided for our AP exposure. We had a peak level exposure of 1,490 crores in October 2010. As we speak today, the residual toxic exposure on AP is nil. So therefore, there could be no downside on that. Probably there could be an upside. The second building block is basically getting out of the supply side shock. As the AP-MFI crisis unfolded, the credit supply was choked, but we got out of it. To give a data point, for calendar year 2011, we were able to access only 950 crores, but for calendar year 2012, we were able to access 2,150 crores. So we are completely out of this supply side shock. The third part of that was cost structure optimization, which revolved around the strategy of branch consolidation and headcount rationalization. The branches were consolidated down from 2,400 to 2,300, and headcount came down from 25,700 to 11,200. This exercise has helped us to see a value reduction of 50% in our operating expenses and also personnel expenses. The fourth and final pillar of our turnaround strategy was to recapitalize ourselves. We raised equity of 263 crores in July 2012. As we speak today, we have a capital adequacy of 39% and liquidity of 300 crores. So we believe we have adequate resources to fund our future growth. Now, quickly coming back to Q3 FY13, we have seen a 14% growth in disbursements, of course, in non-AP states, and 9% growth in portfolio outstanding, which resulted in 15% growth in core interest income on that portfolio. If you look at the operating cost, there are certain non-recurring benefits we have taken, but even if we were to normalize for that and adjust it, there is still a 12% reduction in operating expenses for Q3 FY30. Another thing which merits mention is we have seen a reduction of 50 basis points in our cost of borrowing, primarily because post the QIP issue, the risk premium has been adjusted downwards. It's not aided by anchor rates reductions. We look forward to that. Basically, if we were to talk about the future, the structural adjustments are done with, but for the benefits to show up, it may take another quarter or two. Therefore, Q4 could be a very, very modest non-event. Also, we'll have this challenge of, we will have a problem in Q4, that's the problem of plenty. As you're all aware, what happens in Q4 is that's the final timeline for achieving priority sector credit for banks. So a lot of credit lines would come with the caveat that either draw down in Q4 or lose it. So we may access 800 to 1,000 crores in Q4 to fund Q1 requirement also, but in the meantime, we will carry the negative carry. But if you're talking about FY14, FY15 as full year, we are looking into it with a lot more optimism, primarily on account of the following. First and foremost, the competitive landscape has changed to our advantage. The very limited number of players post the AP-MFI crisis, problematically, many of the small and medium size MFIs found it difficult to meet the enhanced supervisory standards, and some of them have fallen by the wayside. So the demand-supply gap has further widened. The second factor is today we have a lot more regulatory clarity than what we had 2 years back. Reserve Bank of India has laid down a comprehensive regulatory framework. The third one is, the fear of contagion is completely behind us. As you could see from our numbers, the collection efficiency in non-AP portfolio has reverted back to 99.8%, primarily the pre-AP-MFI crisis level. Finally, we are looking forward to the passage of MFI bill in the Honorable Parliament, and also the writ petition filed by us against the AP-MFI Act has been finally heard on November 8th and November 9th in the Honorable AP High Court. Judgment reserved. We are looking forward to these reliefs as and when they come. We don't have a definitive timeline because this is a legal and parliamentary exercise, but as and when they come, that would aid us to resume lending and collection in Andhra Pradesh, and we may collect part of the Andhra Pradesh portfolio, which we have written off. Since we have written off on collecting, all that could find its way to the bottom line and net worth. Thank you.